This is FYI on your TV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham, and I've got Dorothy Goubault with me. You were here with us by Zoom a couple of years ago.
I was indeed.
It was a couple of years
during
ago.
COVID.
That's right. We had to do it by Zoom, but
Yes.
now with the blessing, we've got you here in the studio. So
thank you for having me, Kathy, and it's nice to see you again.
you are here to, you're on a mission.
I am indeed.
You are on a mission to
Yes.
make people aware of the Heart Institute in Ottawa and to make donations and to leave it in their will. But let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
With your husband, Gerald.
Yes. Well, even before Gerald became ill, my father had heart issues, and years ago ended up at the Heart Institute, even before the Heart Institute became renowned, world renowned like it is today. And so Gerald's parents both had heart issues, and he was sick for a very, very long time, and then he was ultimately operated on back in 2013 with a hole in his heart the size of a small orange. And so he went undiagnosed for many, many years, and it ended up that he had affected immune system, permanently damaged heart and lungs, and things just, depression started to move in, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. So it was really tough going for him in a lot of different areas. And so before he passed away, we had always talked about the need for the Heart Institute, and Dr. Keon, who became Senator Keon, is somebody that I had known, and I had followed his work, having worked in Ottawa and the machinery of government and so on. And so we talked and said, you know what, this is for such a good cause, let's put it in our will. So this was some time ago, and then when Gerald passed away, I went to the Heart Institute, explained some of the intricacies of the journey, of what he experienced, and that's when Selva, the contact that I deal with, talked about the research under Oracle. And there's millions going into this research now, and people are really starting to take note. And the relationship between the heart and the head, and vice versa. And although my minister shared this with me, she's tremendous experience in this field, but the percentage of those individuals that have had and experienced heart-related issues, many of them end up having depression, a very personality changes, if I can put it that way, that are of various degrees. And that's what this research is all about. So when Selva talked to me about it, I said, whatever I can do, I'm more than happy to do it. I will get the message out there. And it was about the same time that I had written the words to my song, When Will I See You Again, that you and I talked about on my previous interview. And it was at that stage, it was impromptu. I love to sing, but I'm not a performer or anything like that. And I thought, if I can raise enough money for net proceeds to go to the Heart Institute. So I talked to her about that, and she said, you know, just the work that you're doing is great, because you're getting the message out there on our behalf. So that's one of the ventures that I've been working on, slow but sure, but I am getting there. And
you're doing this through COVID too, though.
Yeah, all through COVID.
Yes.
and it was really tough slugging, and going February's Heart Month. So you do a lot of volunteers. So I've been volunteering my time, getting out to various functions, waving the flag, and taking CDs with me. So it's been a slow process, but I have not given up. And then they came to me wondering if they could write an article in there.
This is beautiful.
Yes, it really is. Thank you so much, Kathy. I'm really proud of it. And it's another way of getting the message out to the public of the need to give. And I have to say that when I saw this, when they published it in the summer magazine, and my understanding is that is going to all donors of the Heart Institute some of whom are from around the world. And it's really an invitation. It's a little bit of our story and an invitation to the world as to the importance of the Heart Institute and why to donate, why to talk about this with your loved ones. And she's also referred in the article to my upcoming book, which was always on my agenda, but I had to kind of park that for now. And I'm the net proceeds of the book, it is my intent that they too will be donated to the Heart Institute. So it's been quite a journey. I've had roadblocks, no doubt about it. And I'm
well,
just...
you've never produced a CD or a book before either, so it's learning.
Kathy, I have no idea what I'm doing, but everybody has taken my hand one step at a time. Summit Sound Studio was just fantastic. Kathy and Dave Daw that recorded my CD. I'm back to them now because they're going to do the layout of the book, and they've got photos. The front and the back covers, the photos have been chosen after a lengthy process of using a photographer who I found out the night of the shoot is the Canadian Photographer of the Year for 2022.
Beautiful.
And she has done a remarkable job. Anna Oda is her name. And I have the title of the book nailed down. That's a secret.
That's a secret.
That's a
okay.
secret for now.
That's another interview then, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, that's a secret. Although all this has been shared with the Heart Institute, and another reason that they've given me the full back page of their magazine, and I'm just it's the same actually, but it's their whole magazine that they have done for the summer, and in addition. I haven't got it just at the moment, but they've also put a clip into another magazine.
Wonderful.
Of the need to donate. And if it only saves one life with what I'm doing after what we experienced with our journey, then in my way of thinking, it's worth the time and effort.
Well, you know, what I'm seeing too is the love you have for Gerald. You know, I see this in what you're doing, and you're doing this for the man that you loved, and he obviously loved you too. So it's a mission of love, it's a mission of legacy, and you know,
and we grew up together in the Upper Ottawa Valley. You know, our families were close. He was from a dairy farm. I came from what I always refer to as stone picker's paradise, but it was that's my first interview with Valley Heritage Renfrew. It came out sort of, you know, I come from a small farming community and a purebred Belgian horse farm. So our families went back, and we go back to childhood. And so as
it was
years...
meant to be.
Yeah, and as years went by, I traveled an awful lot, and Gerald used to always laugh. It was always safe with Dorothy because she'd come in, we'd see each other, and she'd fly out again. And that was really kind of my career. And then in 2003, 2004, the symptoms started to hit him, and just progressively it got worse. And doctors could not figure out what was wrong with him. It was just, it was very frustrating for him. It was frustrating for the doctors, and of course for me, because I could see him deteriorate. And then we had gone to Australia, and coming back, Dr. Gaba was his doctor in Ottawa at the time, and she did one more test at the Heart Institute, and that's when they found the hole in his heart.
Wow.
And then everything became urgent, and the need to, as we put it to Dr. Nisnik, who has since passed away, what is the risk factor of this? Because I understand he was the oldest ever to have a heart repair at the Heart Institute. We're all born with a hole in our heart. Some, in most cases, when the baby's bum is tapped, the heart closes and the lungs open. But in some cases, it doesn't happen. So right from childhood, he had symptoms, but no one ever knew what it was.
Wow.
And he just learned to live with it until he became older, and the symptoms were really deteriorating his body, mind, and soul.
Right. Right.
And so it was after that, but Dr. Niznik, the specialist, just said the risk of him not having is far greater than of him having it. So it was, and things fell between the cracks. There's no doubt about it. And that's when I finally, after his death, and I went to the Heart Institute, and I said there has to be better ways of communicating. And some of what I've been advocating, I hope I've been a little bit instrumental in getting the message through, but perhaps some things were in the works. But as an example, I think it was a year ago in the spring, the PM has announced medical data gathering for Canada, for Canadians. And this is huge, whether you're in a local community, whether you're in a province or Canada. And we have this system. I was an adjudicator judge with the Veterans Review and Appeal Board. And for the time a military/RCM person is taken on strength, their medical information is gathered right up to the point of release. It doesn't matter where they serve in Canada. So I was advocating for this type of a system to be set up. I've also volunteered to the Heart Institute, to the province of Ontario. I don't know where it's at right now, but I'm very prepared to step up, given my background, to see if I can be of any assistance in help setting up the program. But the funding has been announced, and it sounds like it's a go. The other thing that I had talked to one of the senior people about is the need for, we have in Perth a post-traumatic stress disorder center. Mm-hmm. And someone that I know very closely was having issues, and he went to various places, and it wasn't until he got to this center that it really helped to turn his life around. And very often, it doesn't matter after surgery, heart surgery, if the heart is removed, whatever it is, when the heart has been operated on, the body is affected.
Absolutely.
Body, mind, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is depression, there is anxiety, there is PTSD, call it what you will, but the symptoms are overlapping. And if I understood her correctly in our conversation, this is some time ago now, that there was efforts being made to establish some kind of a center that post-surgery, if the situation, we fell between the cracks, we never got any follow-up because Gerald didn't have heart disease. Mm-hmm. He had a hole in his heart. Mm-hmm. So that's being looked at. And the other thing that I advocated is that anyone that's going into heart surgery, that they be psychologically worked up to find out if they are predisposed before going into surgery, to gather all the medical information so that the surgeon, so that the medical team have a solid idea of
Absolutely.
What they're dealing with. And my understanding also from this vice president is that they have hired one psychologist, if not two, and that anyone going into surgery now is scoped out. Medical documents are reviewed, and I think it's a tremendous step forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So little by little, I take a little tiny little bit of the credit, but it's the big picture. It's everyone that's interested and forwarding their concerns and sharing their ideas, and more importantly, donating.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. And how do people do that? Like,
well,
information?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Maybe you could just read it.
Yes.
Her name is Selva.
Selva?
And
okay.
She has her name, it's out there.
Right.
And maybe, Kathy, for your viewers, you could just read that last para so that they could hear, and then they could maybe contact her.
That's right. Okay, so start the conversation. Today you can decide to help thousands of future cardiac patients by leaving a lasting gift in your will. Talk to your loved ones. A conversation around shared legacy can be a bonding experience and create special memories. And for confidential conversation, you can speak to Selva, and her phone number is 613-696-6996. 7251, or she's got an email address at strebert@ottawaheart.ca.
Right, and I'm local, and I'm more than happy to share what I've gone through. If I can help, lend a helping hand in any way, please, people can contact me at Dorothy Goubault at truespeed.ca. Dorothy Goubault at truespeed.ca.
Well, I thank you very much for coming here and telling your story and Gerald's story too.
You're welcome.
So thank you very much.
And also, Kathy,
Oh.
you've been so kind to me.
This is
Merry
wonderful.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. My first gift of the season. It's your CD. Thank you very much. When will I see you again?
When will we see you again?
Well, I hope to see you again as soon as you get your book published.
We
Promise me? Okay.
I will be back. Kat.
Okay,
And
thank
thank
you.
you so much to your viewers.
Thank you.
It's been terrific again.
Thank you very much.
Okay.